When it comes to relationships, the first and most important thing a man must understand is that his value comes first. Too many men give away their time, energy, and emotions without making a woman earn it, and that is the reason they end up feeling drained, used, or taken for granted. Your attention, your loyalty, and your commitment are not just everyday things. They are the highest investments you can give someone. They represent your focus, your presence, and your long-term dedication. But here's the truth: these things only hold value if you treat them as valuable. If you treat your attention like it's cheap, others will too. Think about it. A billionaire doesn't just give his money away to random strangers on the street. He invests wisely because he understands the worth of his resources. In the same way, your attention and commitment are your life's currency. They must be given selectively and only to the woman who proves that she deserves them. If you throw them at anyone who shows you interest, you're basically telling the world that your time, your loyalty, and your energy don't mean much. A man with standards never does that. The problem is many men grow up thinking they have to chase, beg, or prove themselves to women. Society teaches guys that their worth is measured by how much they can do for a woman or how hard they can chase her love. But the reality is the opposite. High-value men do not chase, they attract. They don't try to impress women by giving everything up front. Instead, they live their lives with purpose, focus on their mission, and let women who see their value naturally gravitate toward them. When you place your value first, everything changes. You stop needing her approval, and you stop bending over backwards just to keep her around. You realize that your life has meaning outside of any relationship. Women can sense this energy. They can feel when a man is confident, independent, and centered in his own world. That type of man is irresistible because he's not desperate for attention. He is selective, and his selectiveness makes his attention more powerful. Your attention is like sunlight. If you shine it on the wrong person, you'll only feed weeds. But if you shine it on the right woman, one who appreciates it, nurtures it, and gives back, you create growth and strengthen the relationship. That's why you cannot allow your loyalty and commitment to go to someone who hasn't proven herself. A woman must show consistency, respect, and feminine energy that adds to your life, not subtracts from it. If she brings drama, disloyalty, or disrespect, she doesn't qualify for your investment. The truth is, women are wired to test men. They want to know if you really are the man you present yourself to be, or if you're weak and willing to give away your value cheaply. If you fail that test by overgiving or accepting disrespect, she loses attraction and respect for you. On the other hand, when you enforce your standards, when you walk away from bad behavior, you communicate loudly without even saying a word. I am a man of value, and my time is not free. That strength makes her see you differently. It makes her want to earn more of your attention because now she realizes it's not guaranteed. Every man must remember that being selective is not arrogance. It's self-respect. You don't just hand your loyalty to someone because she looks good or because she says the right words. You wait until her actions consistently prove that she deserves it. So that's how you protect your energy. That's how you stay in control of your emotions. And that's how you make sure that when you finally do commit, it's to someone who will truly value it. At the end of the day, putting your value first is not about playing games or withholding love. It's about protecting the most important asset you have, yourself. When you value yourself, you attract women who also value you. And when you only give your attention, loyalty, and commitment to those who have earned it, you create relationships that are built on respect, equality, and real appreciation. So never forget your value sets the tone. If you see yourself as priceless, others will too. But if you treat yourself as cheap, no one will raise your price. Respect is not something you can demand from a woman. It's something you earn by the way you carry yourself and the standards you uphold. A man who has no standards is a man who will always be taken for granted. Standards are not about being controlling or demanding. They are about knowing what you deserve and refusing to accept less. When you hold firm to your boundaries and expectations, you naturally attract women who respect you, admire you, and want to meet those standards. On the other hand, when you bend your rules, when you allow disrespect or inconsistency to slide, you are teaching her that you do not value yourself, and as a result, she won't value you either. Every relationship is a reflection of what you tolerate. If you allow a woman to speak to you in a disrespectful way, she will do it again. If you allow her to be disloyal, she will test the limits of your tolerance. If you allow her to bring chaos, drama, or negativity into your life without consequence, then you are telling her through your actions that you are okay with it. A man with standards makes it clear from the beginning what kind of behavior he accepts and what he will never tolerate. He doesn't argue or beg for respect. He simply enforces his standards by walking away from situations or people who don't align with them. That's what creates respect. Women are naturally drawn to strength. They may test your limits, but what they're really searching for is a man who cannot be easily swayed. They want to know if you stand for something, if you are willing to put your foot down when necessary, and if you truly believe in your own worth. When you compromise your standards just to keep a woman interested, you may think you're saving the relationship, but in reality, you are destroying it. Every time you lower your standards, her respect for you drops, and once respect is gone, attraction and love soon follow. It is not enough to just say you have standards, you must live them consistently. For example, if loyalty is one of your non-negotiables, then you cannot make excuses for a woman who flirts with other men, hides things from you, or crosses lines. If respect is your standard, then you cannot turn a blind eye when she talks down to you or treats you poorly. When you let it slide once, you give permission for it to happen again. But when you calmly hold her accountable, when you let her know through your actions that this behavior is unacceptable, you teach her how to treat you. That is how respect is built. A man with standards doesn't just apply them to women, he applies them to himself. If you expect loyalty, you must also be loyal. If you expect respect, you must live a life that commands it. If you expect honesty, then you must be truthful in your words and actions. Standards are not about holding someone else to rules you don't follow yourself. They are about creating a code of conduct, a way of living that reflects who you are and what you value. When you embody your standards, you set an example, and people around you naturally follow. One of the greatest mistakes men make is thinking that love alone is enough to sustain a relationship. Love without respect will never last. A woman may say she loves you, but if she doesn't respect you, she will not stay loyal, she will not stay attracted, and she will not give her best self to the relationship. Respect is the foundation. Love grows on top of respect, but it cannot survive without it. This is why standards are so crucial. They protect respect, and respect protects the relationship. When you enforce your standards, it doesn't push away the right woman. It draws her closer. High-value women want to be with men who know what they want and refuse to settle. When you make it clear that you won't tolerate bad behavior, you give her a reason to rise to your level. She will admire your strength, she will trust your leadership, and she will value the fact that you don't waver when tested. This creates a dynamic where both partners give their best, where mutual respect becomes the driving force, and where commitment is real meaning. At the end of the day, standards are what separate men who are respected from men who are ignored. If you want a woman to respect you, if you want her to admire you, if you want her to remain loyal and committed, then you must set standards and enforce them without apology. Never forget that the way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you demand excellence from yourself and expect the same from those around you, you will never have to beg for respect. It will be freely given. A relationship built on one-sided effort will never stand the test of time. Real commitment is not about one person carrying all the weight while the other simply enjoys the benefits. True commitment requires mutual effort, both partners investing, both giving, and both proving through consistent actions that they value the relationship. A man should never give his full loyalty and devotion to a woman who doesn't show through her behavior that she's equally committed. When you give everything and she gives little or nothing back, that is not love, it's imbalance. And imbalance always leads to resentment, disconnection, and eventual collapse. The problem many men face is that they mistake initial attraction for long-term dedication. Just because she likes you, laughs at your jokes, or spends time with you doesn't mean she's ready to commit fully. Real commitment is revealed over time through consistency, through loyalty, and through her willingness to invest in you as much as you invest in her. Too often, men pour in effort hoping it will make her love them more. But this approach backfires. When you give to someone who isn't giving back, you don't create love, you create dependency, and you set yourself up to be taken for granted. A healthy relationship feels like a partnership. Both people contribute, both people support each other, and both people make sacrifices for the good of the bond. Mutual effort creates balance, and balance creates security. When a man knows his woman is equally committed, he feels confident investing deeper. When a woman knows her man is showing up consistently, she feels safe giving her full loyalty. This back and forth exchange of energy is what creates the foundation for trust and long-lasting love. The truth is, effort reveals everything. You don't need to guess if a woman truly values you, just look at her actions. Does she initiate contact, or do you always have to chase her? Does she make time for you, or does she constantly have excuses? Does she support your goals, or does she drain your energy with complaints and distractions? Effort answers all of these questions. If she is genuinely interested, her actions will prove it. If she isn't, no amount of your effort will ever change that. The reason mutual effort is so powerful is because it creates equality. When both partners are working, giving, and investing, neither feels used or taken for granted. Each person knows the other is there for them, not just in words but in actions. This creates a bond where both can lean on each other, both can grow together, and both can weather challenges without fear of abandonment. That kind of partnership builds not only respect, but also deep emotional intimacy. When you're with a woman who matches your effort, everything feels natural, you don't have to beg for attention, and you don't feel insecure about her loyalty. She shows you through her consistency that you matter, and that reassurance fuels your commitment to her. In turn, your consistency fuels her commitment to you. This cycle of giving and receiving creates momentum in the relationship, where love deepens with time instead of fading away. But when effort is one-sided, cracks begin to show quickly. If you are always the one calling, planning, giving, and sacrificing, you will eventually feel empty. You'll start questioning whether she even cares, and that insecurity will lead to frustration. A woman who doesn't invest in you is telling you something important. She doesn't value the relationship at the same level you do. And that is a warning sign you cannot ignore. This is why it's crucial to observe, not just listen. Words are easy, but effort cannot be faked for long. A woman who wants you will show it in her behavior. She will go out of her way to make time for you. She will support you in your mission, and she will make sure you feel valued. That's the kind of woman who deserves your attention, loyalty, and commitment. The strongest relationships are never built on one person doing all the work. They thrive when both people bring their best selves, when both are committed to growth, and when both understand that love is a choice made daily through effort. Mutual effort is proof of genuine commitment. It's the evidence that she values you as much as you value her. Without it, there is no real foundation, only an illusion that will eventually break. So never settle for one-sided love. Demand balance, require consistency, and look for mutual effort. Because when you find a woman who invests in you as much as you invest in her, that's when true commitment is possible. That's when loyalty has meaning. And that's when love becomes something real, something lasting, and something worth giving your all to.